Okay, so now in this step, we're going to install the MySQL server as well as PHP. Those are our requirements for to get our WordPress website up and running. Okay, so we already have Nginx web server running. So now we need a database as well as PHP to execute PHP. All right, so that command would be app. Okay, let me get in here. So it's app install MySQL server -y for auto accept, and that's going to be a quick installation. After the installation is complete, then the next command will be MySQL secure installation. So this will allow me to basically create a password as well. I mean, the password for the root user in MySQL, as well as remove some test tables and so forth, and then reload the database. Okay, so I'm gonna run sudo MySQL secure installation. It's saying it doesn't like that. Did it install this as yeah, that should. Oh, it's not cap. Why was it a capital? Okay, so it's saying if I want to use that valid. I don't want to use any password plugin. I just give me a straight password, right? So I'm gonna say no for that, and just let me type a password in for this for my root. Okay. Hopefully I didn't fat finger that. Okay, no, I didn't. So remove anonymous users. Yes. Disallow remote. No. Remove tests. Yes. Reload. Yes. All done. Okay. Control L to clear screen. All right. So the next step is to go into MySQL so we can create a database as well as create a user. Okay. So it'll be sudo MySQL. Okay. And the next command will be create database. Okay, create database, and then we're going to give it the database name. We're going to call it WordPress. Okay, you can name it anything you like. And then we're going to give it a default character set. Okay, and that's going to be UTF-8. That is. All right. So and then collate UTF as well. So all database crap that's required. I think we get by without actually using the collate, but it's best to have it. What was that? UTF-8 underscore Unicode. Okay. Oops. And I think it was dash or CI. Okay. Let's see if it takes that command. Yes, it did. All right. So now we can do show tables. Show databases, right? And we see the database we created, WordPress. Okay, so the next command is to create a user. Normally there is a create user. I think you can actually create a user, but you can also create a user just by granting that user access. So you could when you grant a non-existing user access, and then you say identified with such and such password, it's going to actually create that user with the given password you supply. Okay, so you can do a grant. Okay, grant all, and I'm not granting all to all databases. That is, I'm just granting all to that WordPress database that we created. So I say on. Okay, and this is where we'd specify WordPress, and I'm gonna say the database, and then you give it all tables dot star. Just let them have all access to that database, right? Even the tables and everything within it too. And this is where we create the user, WordPress, okay? And at the local host, so it's going to be this WSL host, local host, right? And then we're going to say identify by, and we give it a password. In this case, I'm gonna name everything WordPress, right? So the database name is WordPress, the username is WordPress, and the password is WordPress. Okay. Obviously, for production, that's a terrible idea, but for here, the development, it'll work. Okay. Enter. Boom. It's done. So I could do flush privileges, so it can all take effect. Okay, flush privileges. Done. Okay, so exit. We're done with that with MySQL. So the next step is to install PHP. And for PHP, we would have to add it a PHP repository by Andre J. He has a PHP repository that's the most updated version, which is what we I'm lying here. It's not the updated version. We're gonna stick with PHP 7.3. Okay, which is kind of old now. Okay, so I'm gonna add a repository. So I'm gonna do add what was that command? Add is it add? Yeah, add app and then repo, right? So repository, and then just the name of the repo is going to be PPA's Andre. Did I put that? Yeah, Andre J. Okay, and then what do we want to store from his repo is PHP. Okay. Yes, go ahead and enter that. All right. So once we do that, then we're gonna have to run the app update. So app update. So it's gonna update the repository with this new repo we just added. And then now we can run apt-get or app. We could just, and before we could just run app, dash get. But we could just omit the get. We could just put app, say type app. So app install, what is it, PHP, and then give it the version name 7.3 we're going to use, right? Enter. Yep, we want to continue. Y. So we have PHP. And after PHP has been installed, we're going to install a few dependencies that's required for PHP. When I say required, these are dependencies that we will use throughout the life cycle of our coding and stuff. So it's not required. We don't have to actually install any dependencies right now, but we're gonna require them during, when we actually coding and doing stuff. So I have that here. Let me get back here. My scripts folder, I have a PHP file, and this is just this is what we're going to install. Okay, so we're just going to take this. We don't need the whole apt-get. Okay, so I'm just going to do app, and that's it. App install. Couldn't find the package PHP 7.3 mcrypt. Why? Interesting. Hold on, let me see why. Okay, so it turns out mcrypt has been deprecated. Alright, so that has been removed from the repo. So let's get rid of mcrypt and just go with the rest of it. Okay, so again, just remove PHP mcrypt for that, and we should be good. Okay, so that's it for that. The next thing that's that for installing dependencies, PHP dependencies. The next thing we will do is okay, we will update the PHP ini, the php.ini file. We're gonna change a couple of things for OP cache, and some allow. That's about it. And we probably will allow URLs, opens, and so forth. These are all things that we're gonna use in WordPress. Wow, this is extremely slow. Yeah, so that's it. We got one more step to go. We're gonna go into the FPM. That's the PHP that we're using, and we're just gonna copy the. Okay, we're not gonna copy. We're just gonna directly edit. Normally you would just copy it to back it up, but no need. So we're gonna do a sudo, right? Vim. There's no need to sudo because we're actually logged in as root. So etc PHP, which is at 7.3, fpm, and then the name of the file is php.ini. Okay. Okay. So from here, we're gonna I don't like it, so let me set number so I can see the numbers. Okay, it's much better. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just look for certain functions or certain features that we're gonna use. So it's we're gonna look for allow URL. Is that nope? URL F open, that's on, and that's good. For now, that's on 852. We're gonna turn that off. We're not gonna allow that URL F open. So that's on 852. Let's go to 852. I'm sure there's a command that you can just go to a certain number. And where is that guy at? There you go. 852. We're gonna hit insert, go into insert mode, and then say off for that guy. Okay. Control. Let's do another search. We're gonna do it for CGI fix. CGI dot fix. There's more than one fix. So fix path then. Oh my. Info. Why is there more than path info? There it is down there. Hold on, let me just see. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So that was 786 right here. I'm sorry, 793. Okay, 793. So from there, we're going to change that, uncomment that out, and we can just put a 0. So get out of here, and 793 was it? Yes. Okay. Insert mode. So we're going to put a 0. Okay, get out and search for another one. So hash. Oh wait. Oh, what just happened? Put a 0. Okay. I'm gonna go back up. Okay. Oops, get out of insert mode. Alright, so okay. Why is there no opash in here? Did I not install that? Okay, if it's not no opash, that's fine. Let's just save this for now. We'll come back. Okay, that's it for PHP. Now, so whenever you alter the PHP INI file, we're gonna have to reset it. So system CTL, right, and then we're gonna restart PHP 7.3, and it's -fm. Okay, FPM. Okay, enter. All right, and the next one is the last one would be, should it be let's see, I would like to do something with Nginx, because right now we have an install of Nginx that's basic, right? But for now, let's just not touch Nginx for now. It's going to be a lot of Nginx is a beast. Yeah, Nginx is going to be all right, let's just try to do the basics for now, but Nginx is no fun at all. All right, so let's go to what I'm doing, let's go to Vim. No, no, not Vim. Yeah, I was doing it right. Etsy, and then we're gonna go into Nginx. Sites available. Okay, and let's see what we got here. We just got the default. So let's copy default to backup. So just in case we can have a backup of it. If we mess it up, we can always go back, right? And now we can actually edit the default. Okay. This is where we're going to make changes for this video. And for this, files, we would actually use files that we have within our GitHub. We have scripts, we have Nginx default, and basically this is going to be the default. It's going to be straightforward, simple. The only difference between that and this guy, so you bring it all the way down. First of all, let's just get rid of all these comments, right? So you could just double tap D, keep holding D, and then it'll get rid of, delete the comments. Okay. So we're not going to use WSL. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be doing the root. So all the way to the root, delete all the comments. Okay. You know what? I would go all as far as say get rid of the entire file, right? So it'll probably be easier if we would just go in insert mode and just copy this. Okay, we can go through it. Oops. Oh, I see what happened. All right, let me just save it first and go back into it. Yeah, that's it's one of the drawbacks of copy and pasting. Have to figure it out how to Control C. So let me get in a notepad, right? Sometimes it's not really raw. It's not really copying the way it is. So copying that guy. Let's see. Go back into Vim. Insert. Control V. There you go. So basically I just copied it to a notepad and then copy it from there. I pasted it into Notepad. So basically is what this file is doing. It's saying that my root is www-html index. That's my index. Index.html, index blah blah blah. Okay, and I see an issue here. I do not have. Oops. I don't have. Index.php. Okay, and that's it. And it's using sockets, so it's using this. It'll create this socket here, located here, fpm3 fpm sock. All right, so I'm gonna Control C :WQ to save it. All right, so now let's test it and make sure we don't have any errors. We could just do Nginx Nginx-T, and it was successful, no errors. See, syntax is okay, test is successful, no errors. Great. Let's see. Before that, let's create the directory, right? I think, it's gonna be oh wow. all right, so we're gonna have to create some directories. So let's see, let's see, I'll start off with the WordPress directory. Okay, so let's see, cd-var-www. okay, and let's just let me just get out of www first, and then see, www own, the owner is root. Okay, we're going to change that. Okay, so we're going to do a change owner, excuse me, recursive, and we're going to say wait, Why would I change the owner from that to Nah, I would leave the owner as is. I wouldn't change it because we don't remember on this machine we only have one user. Normally you don't want the you wouldn't want the Nginx to be running as root, right? But in this case, let's just leave it as is. Um, let's just make the directories within the www. So I'm gonna go back into www. I'm gonna go to make directory, and dash p, and we're gonna name it. The dash p allows you to create multiple directories, meaning that you could create subdirectories, right? You could create one directory, and then within that, you could create another directory. Without the dash p, you would get an error. Okay, so we're gonna name this WordPress .dev. Let's see, inside here, we're gonna name the public because this is all the public files, and just call this public HTML. Okay, that's fine, public HTML. All right. Okay, so if I were to do an ls, you see that WordPress.dev here, and within that there's a public HTML folder. Okay, so and then that's fine for now. I don't think we need any more. We probably could use some more directories, but for now that directory structure is fine. We really don't need any more. But we will have to create that WordPress.dev, right? So let's see what we can do. Let's go into the sites available again and copy that, right? What was it? CD, Etsy, Nginx, sites available. Okay, and from within here, we're going to copy the default. Copy, which was the one we just created, and we can alter it later. To we're gonna what we call the WordPress, right? WordPress.dev. Okay, and now we can edit that. So vim WordPress.dev. Okay. From here we have another one here, which is the WordPress.dev. So it's in here somewhere. Where is that guy? There you go. Raw. So the only difference is you see the root and stuff. So let's just copy it. Normally it should work if you just copy and paste directly to your terminal, but I copy into Notepad and then put it in the so I'm going to delete all this stuff and then go into insert mode and paste. Get out of here. Control. There you go. So that's it for that. So we can actually, let's see, there's no need to do anything else. Normally we would see change the port and stuff, but we don't have anything running on it. So we would want, let's just see if we would have to change. Can I, yeah, let's test this guy. Test ran, no problems, okay? So the next thing we could do is create a shortcut, a symlink to our WordPress.dev. To the sites available to the sites enabled, right? So we want to basically make this the enabled site. In order to do so, it's pretty straightforward. It's we use an ln command to create it. So we created a symlink. So basically like a shortcut to another location, right? Etsy, so it's be Etsy. What was that? Nginx. Sites available, okay, and then the name of our file that we just created, WordPress.dev, and then we're going to point it to Etsy, Nginx, sites enabled, okay, and we're going to name it the same thing, WordPress.dev, okay, and that's it for that. So we can test it. Run the test again, nginx -t. This one failed. Duplicate. We did have to run that port number. Remember when I said we may have to change the port number? It's saying it's a duplicate. The server for this port 80 is already in use because it's saying this guy here it's already in use. The hell Apache came from? But it's saying this is already in use. So um, so what we could change, we can go back into it. We could change this port, and we can name it a different port. Or what I would like to do actually is do some magic here. Let's go back here, right? So what I would do, I would actually do a Vim. I mean, you could change the port for your default site, right? So I'm gonna look for the default site. So default. So this is already enabled, right? And this is my default. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change that default, which was that this guy here, this port 80. I'm going to change this to another port. So I'm going to name this port 8080, right? Because I want my WordPress to be 80, right? So control, I'm going to save that. And then before you can actually, so let's run the test again. If pass, see? I was about to say before you could do it, let's just reload, but it's not necessary to reload. You can reload it now, but just to make sure the syntax is passed, right? So now when we reload, we're going to get the WordPress website, right? So we can do a system, okay, CTL, right? And then just type reload, Nginx, okay? So now we should be able to get something. Maybe an error or something, but at least we got something. We're getting something. We know we're in Nginx because you see it right here, Nginx. All right. So if I want to go back to that other Apache, so I do an 8080 port 8080 and go back, and then you see that one, right? So we still have that. So we could get rid of that if we don't want it, but it's there. The reason why we got 404 because well, we didn't enter any data, right? Into we just created a directory. We don't have an index.html. We don't have an index.php. We don't have any files in there, so it can't show the default website because you don't have a default anything in there. So that's what we're going to have to start creating that. But before we do that, we may have to create the let's see. I would like to create the WordPress by just downloading WordPress directly from the website. But there's a better way. There's a much better. Let me get out of here. Go back to my directory. There's a much better way, and that way is to do it right from the command prompt. It's a lot faster. People may be thinking downloading the WordPress zip file and just running install and doing it. It's faster from the using command line, the command line utility, and WordPress provides that command line utility. So let's just see if we have curl installed on this machine, and we do. That's awesome. So what we can do is let's see. I will just see. I would paste that in command, and then we can do it from there. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to just curl. We're going to use curl to download the file, and we can use curl wget. It really doesn't matter. So we should have a WordPress CLI, and I just don't want to type this. I don't want to memorize none of this stuff, All right, so we're going to copy that. Okay, we're going to do a curl -o. Just paste that in. So this is the full command. Okay, you can pause the screen if you like. Copy it. So what it's gonna do is gonna download this command line utility, WordPress command line utility. Okay, so I'm gonna hit enter. It's gonna do its thing. Once that's complete, and that was really quick for 9 megs. So now we're gonna change permissions. We're gonna make it executable. So to do that, we do a change mod +x, right? And then the name of the file. Okay, and that's it. it's executable. So we don't want this command living in this directory. So meaning if this command or this utility is literally right in my drive, right? So in order for me to run this command, I would have to be in this physical path. I would have to be in my root path. But what if I'm in another location, another directory, and so forth? I'm not gonna be able to run this, right? So you wouldn't want to put this in your path. So when I say path, I think I don't know. Is it path? Yeah, this is my path. So I could put this file anywhere in one of these directories that's listed here. Okay, so so I'm gonna move it where I see it's in a user local bin. So that's where it's gonna move, right here, right in the beginning. User local. Oh, that's S bin, but I don't want an S bin. I want it here in the bin. So what I'm gonna do a move WP. All right, that's for that command, and I do tab for tab completion. So it's going to be user local, and then give it and then the name, and then the same. Matter of fact, just leave it WP. So when we type WP, it'll bring up the utility. Okay, the command line utility. So WP, boom, it has been moved. So now I'm gonna clear the screen. So now I should be able to run this utility and get information about it. So I could do a WP -- info. And there you go. I have it say I'm running PHP 7.3, blah blah blah. This is the path of my ini file. So we know it's running, right? So the next thing we can do is actually create a website, right? So let's do it. WordPress site. So I'm gonna go back into my WordPress directory that we created. Okay, go into there, clear the screen. So cd public, because that's where we're going to put all the public files in it. Okay, and then from there we can actually do a download, right? So when I say download, we're going to download PHP. I'm sorry, we're going to download WordPress. And look how easy it is. We just do a WP, right? Core, because we want to download the WordPress core. Download. That's it. Oops. What just happened? It says, oh, because I'm root, so it doesn't like. What is that? You really mean to just have yeah. Normally, it's saying it's dangerous, but so you could put this command here that it lists above. Just allow root, and just leave me alone. Okay. So it's going to download. There you go. It's downloading WordPress 5.4.2. I think that's the current version. And once it's downloaded, we would have access. It's all the files that is downloading that's required for WordPress would be in the public HTML directory. Once it's complete, so we do a ls, we see. Oops, I must have typed in it wrong. And we see all the WordPress files. So I mean, even though we have it download, we haven't really configured it yet. So again, there's a WP has a configure command, right? So it's WP core config, right? Okay, so what do we want to config? Oh, let's do a -- db name for a database name. Okay, so we're going to say, okay, here is the database name. So remember, we named the database name WordPress, make it much easy. What was the DB user? What was the the DB user? DB user? I believe that guy was WordPress as well. All right. Same thing for the password. What was the password? -- DB pass. Except this one, is just pass. So we're not using password. Again, we named, or we provide the password as WordPress. WordPress, if I could spell. Okay. And that was it. We have an option to give it a prefix. I think it's okay, or we not, but let's give it a prefix. A prefix is going to be something in front of the so it won't interfere with something else, like DB prefix. Oops. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on today. All right, so we can name it, and let's see, let's give it something generic. JSC. Okay, just leave it like that. Those are my initials, and that's it. Underscore. Okay. So once we hit enter, it's saying ugh. And remember, you have to say allow root. This is only if you're logged in as root. Okay, so we configured the database. Now, what we're gonna have to do some little other house cleaning, right? I don't think I recall that IP address. We're gonna have to get that IP address. Okay, because this IP address we're gonna use that pretty soon. Okay, I'm gonna clear the screen. All right. So the next thing is actually configured WordPress, right? Meaning when we're gonna give it a name, login user, and that sort of thing, right? Email and so forth. So let's give it a. So again, Oops, what just happened? So WP, we're gonna run WP core instead of remember the previous one was WP config. Now we're gonna run WP core install. So this is the installation process now. Okay. So remember we ran three WP commands. We ran WP core download, WP core config, and now we're doing the WP core install. So the install is where we're going to provide the URL, and this time and normally if you had a domain, we would give it a domain name, but since I don't have a domain and hopefully this IP address don't change, we're going to give it a IP address. Okay, so the IP address is this guy here. Copy that, paste it. That's the IP address. Okay. Then we might give it a title, right? So this is going to be the title of the WordPress site, right? So so let's just call it Word. All right. Oops. I'm going to get a little better. WordPress Dev Sandbox. Okay. All right. And then the admin. Okay. So the admin, we're going to give it oops, no, it's admin underscore user, and I'm gonna call him coder. Okay, I just have to remember is coder is the admin user. Okay, and the password is going to be the same thing, right? So again, it's admin. Okay, and this time it's actually admin password, and I'm gonna just name it coder as well. Okay, email. I'll just leave the email blank for now. But if you wanted to put the email, you could do an admin underscore email and then give it an email. Okay, I'm gonna leave that blank. But remember that allow root. we need that because we logged in. I'm logged in as root. Okay, and it's saying it's what's going on? Your PHP installation appears to be missing the MySQL extension. Did we not install that? Hold on. I could have swore we installed that. Let me see. All right, let's see there. Let's look at the our PHP script. Did we actually installed MySQL? Let's PHP MySQL. Nope, we didn't. All right, no worries. So, so let's run an app install php-mysql. Okay, yes, and hopefully it automatically updates our php.ini. If not, we will have to just enable that. So let's run that. It's still, yeah, it's not liking that. That's not a problem. We would just have to update the php.ini and change that. So where were we? Let me just get out of here. Let me run that again so I won't miss that command. Okay. So I'm gonna do a vim. I think it was etc php 7.3 fp php.ini. Okay. So Let's see. So normally I would just do a search, but I don't think that extension is going to actually be in there, right? And let's see. So let's do a MySQL. Well, another one? No. Alright, so it's not in there. Oh, I see. Alright, no worries. So what we can do, I don't think I did MySQL Lite, right? So let's go to insert mode. So I could do an extension. Close MySQL. Why this is, yeah, let's save it. And then from there we're gonna have to probably restart it. So system CTL restart. What was this called? PHP 7.3 dash FPM. Alright, let's run that command again. It's still not liking it. Let's see. And it's saying other stuff in there as well. Alright. Probably is because we didn't we installed, at least I installed generic. I didn't do, and we run 7.3, right? We're not just running PHP, we're running a specific version. So let's see if that kicks in. Okay. Alright. And let's run that command again. This is the install command. Awesome. It took it, but it's saying that the admin email parameter. So apparently the admin email it's required. Okay. So dash admin underscore email, and this is going to be a fictitious email. I'm just going to name it coder at local.dev. Okay. And there you go. So that issue was could have been two folds, right? Or it could have been just one fold. I just didn't install this command. I didn't install the module, the PHP 7.3 MySQL module. And normally I think this command will automatically, hopefully update the php.ini. If not, you would have to go into and just add that extension, MySQL. May not be required. Okay. So get out of here. So with that, I should be able to just run this, and I should have a WordPress. What is this Nginx? Do I have to install stop something? I should have a WordPress directory. No. I should have something. Let me just go into my oops. Why I brought that up. This is my public, right? So it's gonna run from the public, right? Will it run from the public? Let me see something. You can test it right now. Well, actually, I have a index.php, so nothing else is required. Forgive me with the sirens in the background. So I shouldn't have to run anything. Let me just test this and see. Yeah, something is amiss here. It seems like it may not be looking for the public. This directory here, public HTML. So let me pause this and look. Okay, so it's something wrong with our sites available file that we have, that WordPress.dev. So let's do a Vim, Etsy, Nginx, sites available, WordPress.dev. Go into here and then go in insert mode, and we can see here I named it WordPress.dev, but in the file or the commands that we copy, sometimes copy and paste is good and bad, and this one is a bad. It's .com, right? So we named it .dev, and here is also, we don't want a www, so we could just have only one, and I'm gonna name this .dev as well. Okay, so remember it's .dev. Control C, colon WQs for write and quit. Okay, and also what I would like to do, I would like to do a Vim. Should we do a Vim? It's not required. The Vim is not required. So system CTL. What I was gonna about to say is, should I alter, modify the host file so I can take the IP address, our current system IP address, and link and tie it to associate to that WordPress.dev, so we can access the by name WordPress.dev versus, but it will be a little difficult because remember this is a WSL, so this has its own internal IP address. So I would have to, if I was going to bring my browser, I would have to alter the Windows 10 host file. It's not just worth the effort. So accessing it by IP is fine for now. So I'm going to do a reload. Let me do a test. Let me just do a test, right? It's always good to do a test. It's fine. So now I could do a system CTL reload, Nginx. Okay. Now let's see if we can go into there. Fingers crossed. There you go. Voila. Magic. So look, WordPress dev. That's the name we gave it. So let's see if we can log in. If I remember WordPress, it's been so long. Matter of fact, let me cheat. There's a cheat, right? LS. So it's WP admin. Is WP admin? Yeah, WP admin. So is it a dash underscore? What is dash, right? So this is the way to admin to log in. WP admin. There you go. So I named that guy Coder, and the password is Coder. Login. No save. There we go. We logged in as Coder, and immediately there's some updates going on. You have the latest version. Okay, so we have a plugin update or whatever for the spam, but we're pretty good. So we could go into themes, look out at our theme, look at the themes. There's an update for this theme. So we're in shape. We're in shape. So we're gonna start creating our own themes and plugins and so forth in future videos. In the next video, and I'm glad that we have this up and running. So remember, we have this up and running using Nginx, PHP, and what's that? And MySQL and WSL Ubuntu. But mind you, we haven't really set up Nginx or PHP or even WordPress for that matter, right? When I say set up, I mean this is bare bones, right? This is just bare bones. So we haven't really secured WordPress, right? So we can do a lot more. Maybe future videos we can secure it and lock it down. As far as Nginx, where we're not really utilizing Nginx, we're just using Nginx as a static. We're just doing basic, stuff. We're not using it as a load balancer, right? We're not using it as a proxy, right? We're not caching information. It's just straightforward because we haven't really created anything for that. But again, future videos we can do so. We can do that, but it's just like one of these things that we can just have up and running. We got over that hump, right, with the system D, right? We couldn't access the D bus and all that stuff. So so in the next video, what I would like to do, I would like to install some graphical interfaces on the Ubuntu side. So just in case I would like to access Nautilus, that's Ubuntu's, I believe that's Ubuntu's file manager. So I would just bring up there, and just instead of actually, sometimes there are case instances where you don't want to be in the command lines. There are some occasions where you prefer a code editor. You rather be in a code editor when you actually coding, right, writing code and stuff. It's a lot easier doing it that way than sometimes unless you're like a master in the in a terminal editor. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to install some graphical interfaces, and we're going to probably install some code editing software and so forth, and we're going to interact. We're going to merge the two with code editing. We're going to be able to edit. We're going to have an editor, and we're going to be able to access files from WSL right from our Windows 10 desktop. Okay, to the next video.